ever felt like you speaking a completely different language from your partner, your boss, or even your best friend? You go into a chat hoping for a real connection, but you walk away feeling more distant than ever. It's frustrating and it's draining. You may come to astrology hoping that it will help you find the one, but what if I told you its real magic is giving you the secret code to understand everyone? What if you could finally see the hidden emotional needs and communication blueprints that drive the people you care about? Stick with me and you'll discover how to turn those frustrating arguments into moments of real connection just by understanding a few key parts of an astrological chart. This isn't about predicting the future, it's about decoding the present. Welcome to my channel. I'm Yolanda and I am a Western tropical astrologer. I've been reading charts for over 20 years. So let's start with this, the Great Misconception. When most people hear astrology and relationships, they immediately think of sun sign compatibility. They ask, okay, I'm a Leo, can I date a Scorpio? Or will my partner and I last? For decades, magazine columns have drilled this into our heads, reducing the vast wisdom of astrology to a simple and honestly misleading game of zodiac matchmaking. And while that stuff is fun, it's like trying to understand a masterpiece painting by only looking at one color. It's an incredibly limited view, and it's where a lot of people go wrong, leading them to stereotype and even write off potentially amazing partners. So let's start with the most important rule. A disclaimer every good astrologer lives by is this: relationships come first, then the astrology. So relationships first, astrology second. Astrology isn't a set of rules that decides your fate. It's not a weapon to judge or label someone. Its real job is to be a tool, a language, a map that helps you find deeper understanding and empathy for the people already in your life. So this goes for your marriage, your friendships, your family, and even your coworkers. It's a framework for getting to know yourself and others on a much deeper level. Astrology's true power is as a decoder. The real power of relationship astrology isn't predicting if you'll find love. It's giving you a decoder ring for the people you already love, and even the ones you struggle with. Think of a birth chart less like a crystal ball and more like a detailed user manual for a person's inner world. It shows you their default communication settings, their secret emotional needs, and how they instinctively react when they're stressed out. When you feel like you and someone else are on a totally different planet, it's often because you're speaking different astrological languages. One of you might be all about logic, while the other communicates purely from a place of feeling. One person shows love through practical help, while the other absolutely needs to hear, I love you out loud. Understanding these cosmic mechanics doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it does give it context. It builds compassion. It helps you take a step back from the frustration and ask, okay, so what's going on in their world? What do they actually need to feel seen and heard? This shift in perspective is the first step in turning conflict into connection. Instead of reacting to what they said, you start understanding why they said it, and that changes everything. The 3 keys to connection are this. To start decoding your relationships, you don't need to analyze the entire chart. While planets like Venus are hugely important for romance and attraction, We can get incredible insight into day-to-day connection by focusing on just 3 keys: Mercury, the moon, and the ascendant. First up, Mercury. This is the planet of the mind and communication. Your Mercury sign shows how you think, process information, and express yourself. Someone with Mercury in an earth sign like Taurus or Virgo is a practical, grounded communicator. They want to get to the point and they want to find a solution. Contrast that with Mercury in an air sign like Gemini or Libra, which is way more conceptual. And then they love talking things through and exploring ideas just for the fun of it. Then you have Mercury in water signs like Cancer and Scorpio, where communication is all about feeling and emotional connection. And finally, Mercury in a fire sign like Aries or Leo uses words as a form of passionate self-expression. You can already see how a fiery let's go Mercury and a practical show me the facts Mercury might clash, right? So I've been reading relationship charts for over 20 years now, and in my experience, harmonious Mercury contacts seem to be what keeps a marriage or a long-term partnership going. Next, we have the moon. If Mercury is the mind, then the moon is your emotional inner world. It's what you need to feel safe and how you receive love. It's your emotional love language. Someone with a Capricorn moon might feel loved when you support their long-term goals. Stability is their catnip. But a person with a Pisces moon needs empathy and a safe space to share their feelings without being judged. An Aquarius moon needs intellectual connection and freedom, while a Leo moon needs to feel adored and celebrated. Knowing someone's moon sign is like getting a cheat sheet to their heart. It tells you what they actually need to feel loved. Finally, the ascendant or your rising sign is your social mask or the first impression that you give off. It's the energy you walk into a room with. Sometimes there's a huge difference between someone's ascendant and their inner world. For instance, someone might have a serious Capricorn ascendant, making them seem reserved, but underneath they could have a playful, social Gemini sun. This can cause misunderstandings where people mistake the cover for the book. Knowing the ascendant helps you look past that first impression. And then lastly, let's decode conflict styles with Mars. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is conflict. For this, we look to Mars. Mars is the planet of action, drive, and how we fight for what we want. Your Mars sign reveals your conflict style, how you act when you feel angry or challenged. Someone with Mars in a fire sign like Aries is probably direct and assertive and maybe even a little confrontational. They don't back down and their anger is hot and fast, but it can burn out just as quickly. Conversely, say a person with Mars in Libra will do almost anything to avoid a direct fight. Libras are natural peacemakers who try to talk it out, compromise, and find a fair solution. Sometimes they intellectualize their feelings to death. Someone with Mars in a water sign like Cancer might be more passive-aggressive, or they may retreat into their shell. Their feelings get hurt easily, and they tend to take things very personally, fighting with emotional leverage to protect themselves. And finally, a person with Mars in an earth sign like Virgo approaches conflict with strategy and logic. They'll analyze the problem, they'll point out the flaws, and they'll get stuck on the details of who was factually right or wrong. Look, more of these styles are bad. Look, none of these styles are bad, but when they clash without understanding, you get chaos. The directness of a fire Mars feels like a brutal personal attack to a conflict-avoidant Libra Mars. The logical criticism of a Virgo Mars can feel deeply invalidating to an emotional Cancer Mars. If you're having some aha moments thinking about your own relationships, this is just the beginning. For those who want a personalized roadmap, I offer in-depth relationship readings on my website where you can explore the unique chemistry between you and anyone in your life. You can find the link in the description. Let's put this into practice. Let's make up a couple. Let's say Alex and Ben are arguing. Alex has Mars in Aries, a fiery head-on placement, and the second the argument starts, Alex's instinct is to face it. Their voice gets louder, their energy gets more intense, and they want to solve it now. To Alex, this is just being direct and honest. Ben, however, has Mars in Libra. For him, Alex's intensity feels aggressive and overwhelming. Ben's instinct is to keep the peace, so he shuts down. He gets wishy-washy and says things like, oh, let's just drop it. And why are you yelling? He wants harmony, and this confrontation feels like a disaster. So from Alex's view, Ben is being avoidant. From Ben's view, Alex is being intimidating. They are completely stuck. But if they understand their Mars signs, they could reframe the whole thing. Alex could realize the intensity is shutting Ben down and consciously take a breath, lower his voice, and give Ben some space. Ben could understand that Alex's directness isn't a personal attack. It's just how Alex processes things. And he has to find the courage, Ben, to say, I hear you, but I need a minute to think about this, and I promise I'll come back. Astrology gives all of us the language to understand each other's operating systems. It allows us to depersonalize conflict and work as a team against any misunderstanding instead of like fighting each other. Ultimately, astrology's greatest gift to our relationships is empathy. It pushes us to look beyond our point of view and get genuinely curious about how someone else sees the world. It's a tool that helps you ask better questions, listen more deeply, and build bridges where there used to be walls. So the next time you're in a moment of misunderstanding, get curious. Think about their astrological language. Think about your partner's astrological language. Think about your coworkers' astrological language if you know the astrology. Are you dealing with a logical Mercury, an emotional Moon, or a conflict avoidant Mars? Using this lens doesn't just solve problems, it builds intimacy and leads to a deep, authentic connection. The kind of connection we all crave. What's the biggest communication challenge that you face currently in your relationship? Have you ever had an astrology aha moment with someone? Share your comments share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if this helped you see your relationship in a new light, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on using astrology for a more connected life. Thank you for watching.